So let's see one interesting ABG today interpretation. Okay, a chronic alcoholic who has been continuously drinking alcohol for the past 10 days and he's continuously vomiting. He's altered now. Okay, his ABG shows pH of 7.36, bicarb of 22, PCO2 of 40, and electrolytes have been given here. What is your ABG interpretation? Is it a normal ABG? You should just treat the alcohol intoxication part, or is it having high anion gap metabolic acidosis, or is it having high anion gap metabolic acidosis with normal anion gap metabolic acidosis also, or is it having high anion gap metabolic acidosis with metabolic alkalosis also? So if you see, this question is aiming to test your advanced ABG interpretation skills. This is how they ask in INACET. So first, if you see, as we saw yesterday, we will learn the basics of ABG. What are the basic parameters you should remember? So as we saw yesterday, pH should be 7.35 to 7.45, single value 7.4, PCO2 35 to 40 should remember, single value 40, bicarb 22 to 24, single value 24. Okay, so if you apply the same step here, let's see, pH, it is 7.36, 7.535 to 7.45 is normal, then that means pH is normal here. Okay, then what about bicarb? It should be 18 to 24. It is within 18 to 24. So that means bicarb is also normal here. Okay. What about partial pressure of carbon dioxide? It is 40. Normal value is 35 to 40. Then it is also normal here. Then can I tell it as a normal ABG and can I move on? Or should I see one more parameter before deciding it is a normal ABG? The parameter which you should always look into is the anion gap. Okay, so usually when we are solving ABGs, first our focus will be on the pH. We will see the pH. If it is less than 7.35, we'll go to acidosis or alkalosis we'll be seeing. Okay, then after interpreting, we will see the bicarb and PCO2 value. We will divide it whether it is metabolic acidosis or respiratory acidosis. Metabolic or respiratory alkalosis, we will see depending on the values as we discussed yesterday. Then if you see, we will go calculate the compensations. Is it metabolic acidosis means what is the formula used? Winter's formula, PCO2 is equal to 1.5 times the bicarb plus 8 plus or minus 2. It is metabolic alkalosis, expected PCO2 will be bicarb plus 15. So all these formulas will be applied. Then we will analyze whether it's compensated or not. Okay, but here if you see, everything is normal. Before calling it as a normal ABG, always calculate the anion gap. Okay, so here if you see, let's calculate the anion gap for this question. Anion gap is equal to, as we saw yesterday, sodium minus chloride plus bicarb. Okay, so sodium is equal to 145 minus chloride is 100 plus 22. So it will be 145 minus 122. It will be 23. Okay, so what is happening here to anion gap? It is more than 12. Then it is abnormal. Okay, it is abnormality is there. So you can't call this ABG as a normal ABG. First option is ruled out. Let's see why. And what is the role and how to find out the different metabolic abnormalities in this ABG. Okay, so anion gap is more than 12, which is 23. You have found it out. Okay, so what is this anion gap and how to apply this in my question? See, anion gap, if you see, a simple concept. If you see, always the number of cations in your body is always equal to number of anions. So if you take the measurable cations, they tell only sodium is the measurable cation. Even though calcium, magnesium we measure, but still we only take sodium as the measurable cation. See this graph? Only sodium is the measurable cation. And if you take the anion side, chloride and bicarb, both are measurable anions. Okay. And apart from chloride and bicarb, there are lots of unmeasurable anions like sulfates, phosphates, proteins, amino acids, all negatively charged particles, all will be coming into unmeasurable anions. So unmeasurable anions is even more. So if you see, there is always a gap that exists between the measurable cations and the measurable anions. So always there is a gap. This gap is the anion gap. Okay. Yeah. So how to measure this? Sodium minus chloride plus bicarb. Okay. So if you apply normal values like 135, 124, you will get a normal anion gap of 8 to 12. Single value you can remember as 12. If it is more than 12, it is high anion gap. If it is less than 12, it is low anion gap. Okay. Yeah. So now I want to emphasize this concept into you. See, any extra acid added into your body, it might be some alcohol, it might be some toxins, any extra acid added to the body will raise the anion gap. Why? Because any alcohols, as we studied in our basic chemistry, that any alcohol when added into the body, it will be oxidized into aldehydes and acids. Final part will be acids. Ethanol is drunk by a person, it will be converted into acetic acid, methanol, formic acid. So all acids will be formed at the end. In the acid, if you see, there will be a negative charged particle, which is the anion, and will be a proton. It will divide into proton and anion. So this proton, what it will do is, it will suck out all the bicarb available in the body. So bicarb will be reducing, and this extra anion will replace the bicarb pool. So they tell whatever bicarb is lost, that is replaced by this extra anions. Okay, because the acid released a proton and an anion. This proton consumed all the bicarb. And in this bicarb area, this extra anions got sacked into it. So if you see at the end, this gap, if you see, is getting increasing because extra anion gap is increasing. That means increased anion gap. So we can calculate a ratio called delta ratio. Very important. Okay. This is how they ask questions in INSET. Delta ratio is equal to, so what we understood? Whatever change in anion gap which is happening will be the change in bicarb. Okay. So normal anion gap, we can take it as 12. So any anion gap minus 12 will be 24 minus bicarb. This is the formula for delta ratio. Okay. In our question, the anion gap was 23 and bicarb was 22. Okay. Bicarb was 22. So if you see 23 minus 12 by 24 minus 22. So if you see actually some 11 by 2, which is almost 5.5. Okay. So what you should know is this delta ratio, if it is more than 2, it is HAGMA, high anion gap metabolic acidosis plus metabolic alkalosis. If it is within 1 to 2, it is HAGMA only. This you should memorize. And if it is between 0.4 to 1, then it is HAGMA, high anion gap metabolic acidosis plus normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. And if it is less than 0.4, it is NAGMA only. Okay, so this you should memorize, or else you can remember actually conceptually also you can remember. See what I told, whatever bicarb is lost, that much anion gap is increased. So if the ratio is in between 1 to 2, then only HAGMA is happening. Yes or no? Yeah. And if the metabolic alkalosis is happening, meaning your bicarb change, if you see, what will happen to the bicarb change? It will be very less. So the numerator will be very much increased in delta ratio. So more than 2 will constitute HAGMA plus metabolic alkalosis. Okay, so should remember with respect to delta ratio. Okay, so just see the question now. Now we will calculate delta ratio. What happened? Delta ratio was 5.5, which is more than 2. So it is HAGMA plus metabolic alkalosis. Okay, yes, this is the answer. HAGMA plus metabolic alkalosis. Thank you.
Best training, peaceful environment, PG medical entrance exam preparation were my expectations. I got them at Speed Medical Village in Kanchipuram. Today, I am a PG topper.
Speed Medical Village, a unique eco-friendly campus dedicated for PG preparation. Speed Medical Institute, a complete solution for medical education.